What's up, guys? I'm Jack. On this episode of KY Customs, we're working on that silver truck again. Finally, it's been forever since I posted anything on it, and I'm going to warn you guys ahead of time. This video is kind of like a compilation of the little things I've been doing over the last 2 months. None of it is really big enough for its own video, but I didn't want to skip over it because it would leave a huge hole in the whole build process of this. So if you want to skip over this video, it's perfectly fine, because in the next one we'll have a little bit more direction. It might be a little bit more interesting, but sit back, relax, try to enjoy this one, and we'll get right into it. So hope you guys enjoy. All right, so if you look around the shop, you'll see the truck is currently in hovercraft mode. Got the 306 on a stand, got some goodies right there that I'm going to tell you guys about here in just a minute, and we've got parts everywhere. Reason is we've actually done quite a bit of work on this truck since the last time you saw it. I started filming the process on lowering the front. We went ahead and put some DJM Dream Beams up front to bring it down another 3 inches. And sadly, I started filming and ran out of storage space on my phone because we're still filming with an iPhone right now. So those videos are lost, which sucks, but it's all right. There's a ton of videos on YouTube, and if you're wanting to learn how to do it, you probably shouldn't learn from us anyway, because we're kind of learning as we go. Other thing is it's super dirty right now, so it doesn't look that great. But repainted the cross member. I painted all my core support and everything, and did a bunch of the braided wire loom just to clean up the wiring a little bit. It was kind of a big mess in here before. Super ugly. It was something that I really hated about this truck, was when you go to a car show and you got the super clean looking nice truck, and you pop the hood and there's just wires everywhere and just junk and nasty motor that leaked a bunch of oil. So we fixed all those problems, as well as obviously jacked this thing up and took the wheels off. These are wheel drag lights, and I know some of you guys are going to say everybody's got them, they're overused. I don't care. These are like the coolest wheels ever, in my opinion. I just think they look good on everything that I've seen them on. Problem with these are they're already drilled for 5 on 4.5, which is a Mustang lug pattern, and these trucks are 5 on 5.5. So I'm going to show you guys how we fixed that by re-drilling the rotors over on the mill over there. This is a stock replacement rotor for my truck, and as you can see, normally these things are 5 on 5.5 lug pattern. Problem is there's like 4 wheels available for performance stuff anyway for that lug pattern. So we're going to re-drill them to 4.5 on 5. That's a Mustang lug pattern, and there are like 4.5 million wheel options you could run. Pretty much whatever you want, you can get to run on that lug pattern. So this one, as you can see, we already drilled, and we'll re-drill the next one here in just a minute on the lathe. I've got these Super Trick lugs from Summit Racing, or studs rather. They're 3-inch SFI certified race studs. We're going to press in on the new holes, and that will convert these over to this lug pattern so we can run these wheels, and they're going to look great. I'm super excited about it. Hope you guys are too. So we're going to start this video off with drilling the passenger side rotor, or well, it doesn't really matter. We're going to drill the other rotor over here on the mill, and once we get it drilled, I'll tell you guys about what we're going to do next with this little flange here. So let's get to it. All right, so I got 4 of the 5 holes bored out on here. We're going to go ahead and do the 6th, and this one will be done. Then we'll flip them and counterbore the back, because the way they are right now, let's see if I can flip this over with one hand. Okay, the way they are right now, you can see it kind of curves up in the casting, and these have got to have like a flat spot to sit on, because otherwise they won't fully seat. So I'm going to flip them over, probably either put them in the vise, or I'm not really sure how I'm going to clamp them, but we're going to flip them over and we're going to counterbore the back of that so it's got a flat surface. And then they'll be ready to turn on the lathe, and they'll be ready to go on the truck so we can mount the drag lights, and this thing's going to look awesome. So let's keep on rocking. All right, so we're going to re-drill the last hole. We've got all 5 pilot holes already drilled 1/4 inch, and we're final drilling it to 39/64, which it's not reamed or anything. It's not got to be super accurate. Really all it's got to do is guide the stud into a pretty close spot. So where we've already got it drilled out with a pilot hole, for what this is, we can really just set the drill down in it without it spinning and let it seat itself just like that, and then we can clamp it. right, and just like that, we got ourselves a new lug pattern. So we're gonna flip them over and counterbore them, then we'll be good to keep on going with pressing the studs in, mounting these things on the truck. All right, that project's done. So now we get to flip them over, that part of the project anyway. I'm gonna scoot the vise over to the center of the mill because it's kind of over on the edge out of the way right now. Scoot it over, don't even really have to worry about indicating it because it's just gonna be eyeballed. We're gonna put a big giant end mill in there just to flatten out the backside of it to counterbore them. We're just gonna eyeball where they go because it doesn't really matter as long as it's flat. Then we'll be good to go. Maybe. All right. I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. The tripod's gonna hit the cable. There we go. Gonna unlock our coil and just get it close. Like I said, this part isn't an exact science at all. Really, none of this is. It's just get it flat. That's pretty much all that matters here. So that'll work. All right, let's flip it over to high gear. Let's run this thing a little quicker. So, I won't bore you guys with that whole process, but we're just gonna make them look like that one right there. So we got these drilled and counterbored on the back. Do not judge my machining skills on these because these look terrible. Turns out I didn't have an end mill big enough to match the size on these studs here. So I ended up using a 3/4 inch end mill. And basically doing like an etch-a-sketch. I went down there to the depth and just kind of walled it out till it was big enough for the stud to sit on. Really all that mattered here was making sure they were all the same depth so that they stuck out the same amount. So that works. So these are now ready to go to the lathe at my buddy's house because while our lathe is great, it's just not big enough to be turning rotors that size on. They would hit our bed here. So I'm gonna take them over to his house probably either tomorrow or the next day. I'll bring you guys along with me. We'll turn them and then we'll be good to go. So we're back. So if you guys can't tell, my voice is kind of gone. I've got some kind of cold or something going around. It's snowing like crazy in Kentucky. It's super cold outside. And apparently my voice box doesn't really like it. But we're out here today. I'm gonna do some more work on the truck and I'll show you guys kind of what we're doing as we go along. We already drilled the rotors. So now we got to do the rear axles. And as you can see, if I get this off at one end, maybe, there we go. Take the brake drum off on the rear, and there's plenty of material here to drill right into to change the lug pattern. And same deal, we're gonna have to take the axles out and turn this diameter just a little bit on the lathe at my buddy's house. So today, what we're gonna do is go ahead and drill the new stud holes in the new locations through the drum and everything for now. And then I guess we're going to take the rear end out of this thing, and I'll tell you guys about what we're going to do to strengthen it and to lower the back of this thing. We're going to go ahead and start on that. So let's get right to it. I don't know if I've showed you guys this or not, but we're going to be using this to get our lug pattern. This is a tool from Hell's Gate Hot Rods. It's designed to do exactly what we're doing. Basically, you line up your 5 on 5.5 holes. You throw it on your existing studs and bolt it down with your lug nuts. Then you drill a pilot hole through here with your drill. You can do the rest of it with that same drill bit we used the other day. So I will bolt this on and I'll just kind of show you as we go how to use it. All right, so we're going to stick the drum back on it. We're going to drill through it too because I want to just keep it drum for just now until we can upgrade the disc brakes. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Get it in the drill. Oh man, so shattered the drill bit in 3 pieces, which is actually kind of impressive, but it's okay. We've got a bunch extra, so I'm gonna try to get this thing out with pliers. Actually, I got most of it out with my hand right there. I'm gonna clean that hole up. Just run a drill through it again, just to clean it up a little bit, then we should be fine. So got 2 more to go, and then this one will be ready to drill to the final size, so wish me luck. All right, got it out, so we're gonna go ahead and drill the last 2, and we'll keep on going. All right, next day. Yesterday I ended up getting the driver's side done because it takes forever. Constantly got to resharpen the drill bit. Broke 3 pilot drills off doing it, but this side is re-drilled. So all we got to do now is take us to my buddy's house, turn the axle on his lathe. So today, got to come over here on this side and do the exact same thing, only this time I got less room. So we're gonna drill these out, and hopefully it'll go a little quicker now that I know what I'm doing. So let's get to it, I guess. All right, drilled the rear end out completely. Got a new lug pattern on both sides, and drilled the front and went ahead and hung a drag light off of it, and this looks awesome. I'm super excited to see it, especially with it lowered all the way, tucked up under the fender. But got some news. We're actually going to swap the rear end. So the end goal for this truck is I want to go to Hot Rod Drag Week. That's like been my dream for this thing since I've had it, and so I'm super excited about that. But one of the things is where I'm running an 8.8 rear end, they have C-clip axles, and if you break an axle, your whole assembly will come sliding out. So originally I was going to go to disc brakes on the back to prevent that. Problem is, when you go break an axle with disc brakes and they try to slide out, it can actually lock your wheel on that side, and you could, you know, crash. Don't want that. So I could go with 9-inch rear or 9-inch ends on this 8.8 or C-clip eliminators, and instead just decided we're just going to go to a 9-inch. So I went and picked this up the other day. We're going to go ahead and take it apart and take it to the sandblaster tonight. So, and we're back. So went and got the 9-inch rear end from the sandblaster the other day, and it turned out great, as you can see, which I already started painting it, and I figured I should probably film this because I almost forgot. But had the rear end sandblasted and the leaf springs. Go ahead and spray some paint on it. I'm just painting them with Rust-Oleum satin black. That'll be perfect for what this is. So I'm gonna lay down a coat of paint on this, and hopefully it turns out good. Wish me luck. All right, rear end's got 1 coat on it. I mean, I'll probably have to do 2 coats. But for first coat, it doesn't look bad. Just try to get everything covered. We are going to be going through this. It's probably either going to get Strange or Moser axles. 31 spline on 4.5 on 5 lug pattern, so we can run my wheels and everything. But they need to be a little stronger. We're going to weld a brace onto the back. Only reason I'm painting it now and it's not all disassembled and everything is because I didn't want to get powder coat in the actual rear end housing. Or not powder coat, sorry. I didn't want to get sand from the sandblaster in the actual rear end housing. So I went ahead and had it sandblasted. We're just going to paint it, keep it from rusting. Then we'll take it all apart in a future episode and throw new axles in it and all that good stuff. So now I'm going to wipe down the leaf springs with alcohol and paper towels to get any dirt off of them, and then do the same thing to them, and then let it flash for a little while and probably do a second coat tonight. So stay tuned. All right, so we're back a couple days later. Got the rear end painted, got the leaf springs painted, so we're going to go ahead and pull the old rear end out from under it. And I'll tell you guys about what we're doing for brakes, axles, all that good stuff here in just a second. So for the 9-inch, I've got a brace kit coming. I'll show you guys when we get it in the mail, but we're going to weld it on the tubes to strengthen it just a little bit. I'm going to order some axles for this thing tonight, as well as a disc brake conversion kit from North Race Car. We're going to put SN95 Mustang brakes on the back of this. Went ahead and painted the leaf springs. Just got them done. The rear end's been done for a day or 2 now. Just been kind of drying, so it looks great. Super happy with the way it turned out. So gonna take it apart later, but first we're gonna pull the 8.8 out from under this thing. All right, went ahead and moved the jack stands to the frame, so we're gonna unbolt. There's the leaf springs, the shocks, a undo all my brake lines and the traction bars, and we're just gonna drop it as one piece like the leaf springs in the rear end. All right, so this thing, ever since I've owned it, has had like terrible wheel hop and axle wrap anytime the rear tire spun, especially at the drag strip. And the only thing I can think of is either somebody pulled a spring out of the old leaf springs, or the XL trucks came with less beefy leaf springs than the XLTs. I never could figure out why it kept doing that. And we even tried these traction devices. My dad and I built these traction bars a couple years ago. They're 1/4 inch DOM thick wall tubing, and they help tremendously. It's actually drivable. You know, at the drag strip, you can do little burnouts and stuff, not hurt it, but it still does axle wrap quite a bit. And it dawned on me a couple months ago, the XLT trucks don't have that problem. So I crawled under another truck we had and looked and counted the springs, and there's an extra spring. So I'm not sure if that's the difference in XLT versus XL, or if somebody pulled a spring out trying to lower it or what. I don't really know, but got these XLT springs off of another truck we're gonna put on. And those traction bars, we're probably going to reuse them, so I'm going to go ahead and take them off and take them down with the rear end. So all right, so this video is taking forever to film, and I apologize ahead of time for how long it's taken. I haven't had near as much free time in the afternoons to work on the truck. So it's actually been like 2 weeks since that last clip, and let me show you where we're at. So got the old 8.8 out from under the truck. The old leaf springs are out. They're just kind of laying there. And I just slid these under for the time being. Went ahead and took it apart, and today we're gonna weld some braces on the back. All right, so I went ahead and got the housing on some sawhorses. I'm just kind of holding it up. These are the braces that I got for it. They're just sheet metal braces. I don't really remember where I got them, to be honest with you. They were cheap, but they will do the job that I need them to do. They're gonna sit just like that. We're gonna weld them on today, weld all across here, up onto the actual hog head itself. All right, guys, so it is like 9:15 at night, and I'm finally done. Got it on there, welded on like it's supposed to be. Went ahead and spread some paint on it just to clean it up a little bit. That's not gloss paint, by the way, that's satin, so it'll dry the same color as the rest of the rear end. But I think it looks pretty good. Don't judge my welds because they look like trash, but went ahead and welded it on. This bead looks pretty good, but the rest of it's not that good, but I know they're good and strong. Welded this thing on about 2 inches at a time, letting it cool in between each one, just so I didn't actually warp the housing or anything. And then this gap in the middle, I welded it up and ground it down flat so it looks a little nicer. And went ahead and painted it. So it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll work fine for what I'm doing, perfectly fine for my drag truck. So that will conclude the brace kit on this thing. Next time you see this thing, we'll be putting axles in it and a new carrier, and putting it in the truck. So see you guys then. All right, so finally got a little bit of time off, and you guys saw the last clip. Got the rear end done, or the housing done anyway. It's not done, but went ahead and ordered axles and a carrier for it. We're running a Detroit True Track with Strange 31 spline alloy axles. I'll show you those when they come in. They'll be super sweet. That rear end should be really nasty. Should take a lot of power, so works for me. So today we're gonna try to get the front end of this thing sitting on the floor. Over here on the passenger side, also it's thunderstorming, so if you hear the thunder, that's all. But on the passenger side, we got the wheel mounted just kind of temporary with the old wheel bearings and everything, just to see what it would look like. We're gonna take that back apart and do it right with new bearings. And on the driver's side, we're gonna go ahead and take the whole rotor and everything off. Rotor, caliper replaced, the whole hub assembly, and then we'll get this thing sitting on the floor. So I'll show you guys when it's done. So the old bearings actually don't look that bad. I actually think they've probably been replaced before. I know they have been. They had to have been, or at least re-greased, because it's fresh grease in there. But we're gonna go ahead and replace them anyway, because I mean we got the spindles off, or the rotors off, put new ones on, so might as well. So all I did was unbolt that axle nut, and then the whole thing just comes right off. I don't have to mess with pulling any old bearings or anything out of that, just because we're putting new rotors and new bearings over there in it. So I'm just going to clean this really, really well with some paper towels, make sure there's no leftover dirt or grit or anything around that spindle, and then we'll put the new one on. So before we can install the new rotor, I need to clean it, because you can see it's covered in metal dust from when we drilled it and everything. So I'm gonna clean that really good with brake clean, press the new studs in it, and then make sure all my bearing races are clean, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so installing these wheel studs, I've got these. They're 3-inch long SFI certified drag racing wheel studs, half 20 pattern. I took this, just a random lug nut we had, half 20, and turned it on the lathe so I could flip it around backwards and still get it with a socket. So what you want to do is take you some all-purpose grease and really coat those splines on that stud as much as you can. Just get them good and covered, because if you don't, these things are never going to pull in all the way. They're going to be a huge pain. And like I said, just get as much as you can. I'll put on a glove on one hand here in a minute so I can actually really do this right. But cover them pretty good. Go ahead and toss them in wherever they're going to go. And I'm going to put this big stack of washers and that lug nut on there and tighten them down. And that should push it right into place. That's why I milled this spot right here flat. You can see there's a big radius that comes up. Right there, you can see it. And if we were to pull down on it before I milled that off, it would actually try to cock our stud inwards. So I went ahead and made that nice and flat and made it all the same level so that it'll sit evenly on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out, and then we'll do the rest of them, and then we'll be good to go. All right, first of 5 installed. Everything looks right. It looks like it's sticking up pretty straight. It's not cocked sideways or anything like that. So I think we're good to do the rest of them. So I'm gonna do them the same way, and then we'll install this on the truck. All right, so driver's side's installed, spins like it's supposed to. Got the dust cap on, everything put back together. So this side is done. We're gonna move to the passenger side next. Actually, I'm gonna throw a wheel on this side, and then we'll see how it looks. And we'll move to the passenger side, so stay tuned. All right, both sides are on, and I'm super excited because I'm about to set the front end of this thing down for the first time in months. It's just gonna be the front, sadly, because there's not a rear end under it. But at least we get to see what it looks like sitting on the ground. As soon as we can get the motor and transmission in it, it'll sit way lower, of course. We're gonna set it down just because I'm so excited to see what it looks like. So set this thing on the floor. Finally, also put the hood on the thing, so that's why that's there. But finally got this thing sitting on the floor, and I'll see if I can insert a picture of what the ride height should be. Me and my dad hopped in the engine bay just to kind of weigh it down, maybe get close to the weight of an engine and transmission. But dude, this is awesome. I love the way it sits already. It already sits way lower than it did before. And keep in mind, like I said, it'll sit way lower with some weight on it, but that looks awesome. I'm so excited to get this thing done, put back together. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. The video has drug on forever, and I'm sorry for kind of boring you guys. I'm sure it wasn't the most interesting in the series yet. Sorry, the dogs are barking outside. But got some really exciting things coming, like a set of microphones that you can hook to your shirt. 4 times when the dogs are barking outside, or it's thunderstorming or something like that, or I'm outside in the wind, you guys will hopefully be able to hear me a little bit better. The audio will be better quality. I've also been practicing editing. I'm going to change up the editing style of the video a little bit, and you guys can let me know if you like that or not in the next one. But don't worry, the next video does have a little bit of direction. We're going to be building the 9-inch for this thing, getting it underneath. I'm actually standing in front of it right now. I've already started filming the next video, and we've got the bed off and everything, so you guys will see that coming soon. So stay tuned, keep watching. I'll be back soon. So I appreciate you all for watching. Please like, subscribe if you do enjoy watching them, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So later.